In chapter 8 of the book of Daniel, we saw a goat came rushing from the west, and it had a prominent horn in the middle of its forehead, and it came and trampled upon the ram. This was explained by saying that Alexander the Great rose up very suddenly, and he died also at a very young age of 32 by complications from drinking and from malaria. So the goat's horn was broken off, and in its place Daniel in his vision saw 4 horns appear. And this was proved in history when Alexander the Great died. His 4 generals took over the Greek Empire. And we are going to study 2 generals because they are concerned with the history of Israel. We will study Ptolemy, who was in charge of Egypt and Asia Minor, and we will see Seleucus, who was in charge of Syria, Mesopotamia, and Israel. Then in his vision from verses 9 to 12 of chapter 8, we saw that in his vision Daniel saw that out of one of the 4 horns there came out another horn, a little horn, and it had a small beginning. So a ruler came out of the 4 generals that were there. After their death, another ruler came, and his beginning was very small, but he grew into mighty power towards the south, towards the east, and towards the beautiful land of Israel. So this ruler that came out of the 4 generals was a persecutor of the nation of Israel, and that is referred to as the host of heaven in the Bible. He oppressed that nation. The Bible says he trampled upon them, and he set himself up as Israel king and called himself the priest of the host. So he prohibited Israel from following their religious customs of daily sacrifice. He stopped their worship on the Sabbath day, and he desecrated the temple of the Lord, and his attitude towards the nation of Israel was terrible. And he forced them to eat pig's meat, and if they didn't eat pig's meat, they were killed. So this ruler prospered, and he despised God's truth, and he despised God's people. And the truth was said to be thrown out. In the Bible it is written like that. So in this part of the vision, Daniel sees the rise of a ruler from the Greek Empire who oppressed the people of Israel. And in his vision he saw them desecrate the temple of God and interrupt worship. And this ruler came and demanded worship for himself, and all the authority that God has, he wanted it for himself. And after doing this, after 2,300 evenings and mornings, the sanctuary which had been defiled by him, the vision showed Daniel that the sanctuary would be cleansed and restored to its rightful place in the nation's life. So this was the vision of Daniel. And the angel Gabriel came and gave its interpretation to Daniel. So in verses 23 to 25, we find that the angel gave the interpretation to Daniel. So he says that in the later years, out of the 4 kings, there will come a stern and a cunning king, a master of intrigue and deceit. He would be very powerful and he would destroy the people and expand his kingdom, and many of the Israelites would lose their lives. He would be against Israel and against her God. Yet this mighty ruler that is going to come out of the Greek Empire, he would be destroyed by supernatural power and not by human means. So this is the interpretation. And we shall then see actually what happened in history and how this vision was fulfilled.